One of the fan club?
Anyway, they live in Florida, and they were big fans of Laramie, Jeff Harper. So they created the character Wade Harper, and they had done some work for Chuck. And I don't remember how many of those I did, but the first one, I didn't play that character. I played a character that makes him the Texas Ranger, and that he is throughout the show, a flashback. But these people came up with the idea, and they gave it to Chuck, and he loved it. I just got a phone call from them saying, "I should do a couple of these things." So that was a lot of fun.
I think you need to come back. That was the last thing you did.
Well,
I think you need.
Yeah.
Don't you think he needs to do
I thought you were talking about Chuck.
No, well.
Walker Texas Ranger was the last vestige of any Western type of thing that we have seen on television. His flashbacks were excellent. I mean, the action in it was good. I mean, it was a good shoot-'em-up show.
Have you watched Hell on Wheels?
No.
That's a pretty good show.
Thanks.
How many? Has anybody in here watched Hell on Wheels? Very good. By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't introduce Mr. Boyd Majors back there and his lovely wife Donna. Raise your hand. Questions? Raise your hand. We'll get to you. Yes, back there.
So you're starting with most of your roles have been westerns, but emergency was completely different choices of what you're used to. My question is, I'm sorry. You started in westerns. This is all. You started in westerns. Most of your roles have been westerns, but emergency was a completely different direction for you. How different was it? How typical was it for you to create that role? What did you do to prepare for it?
Well, it really wasn't that difficult. The interesting thing about it is I didn't want to do that show. I was looking for another Western in the early 70s, and they were gone. There'd never be another Western on television. But I was bound to determine it was going to be a Western, and when I got a call from my agent that said, "Jack Webb wants to meet you. He's got a new series called Emergency, and he wants you to do the lead in it." And I said, "Emergency, it sounds like a medical show." And he said, "Well, it is." And I said, "I don't want to do a medical show. I want to do a Western." He said, "Well, you're crazy." He says, "There's no Westerns. This is a firm offer. He had just seen you in a movie, and he wants you to do the lead in a big new series." I said, "I don't want to do it, but at least I can go in and tell the man to his face I've never met him, and I don't want to do it." And they said, "Well, I want to meet you this evening at the Universal Studios at his office after hours." So I showed up and walked into his office, bigger than this room right here, full of Universal brass, including Jack behind his desk. And I walked up to him and I said, "Mr. Webb, it's a pleasure to meet you, but I have to tell you that I'm really not interested in doing a medical series." And he said, "Shut up and sit down." What? He said, everybody was having cocktails after hours in his office. He says, "Do you drink?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Go fix yourself a drink and sit down." I went over and poured myself a drink and sat down in front of his desk. 2 hours later, I walked out of his office with 12 pages of a 2-hour world premiere movie to start shooting in 3 days and 13 solid episodes to follow immediately. What an idiot I would have been if he'd have said, "Okay, see you later." The show went 8 seasons. It was fantastic. But anyway, I got the 12 pages and I came back to his office the next day and I said, "Jack," I said, "this is incredible." You know, I said, "I'm used to saying they went that away." Some of this dialogue, I can't hardly pronounce these medical things. And he reached down under his desk and he pulled out an 8-pound Dorland medical dictionary. This big, and threw it at me across the desk, and I caught it and he said, "Read that, you'll do fine." And it was the medical dictionary that got me through it, really. We had every time I picked a scalpel up, there was a doctor, a real doctor from Harvard General standing behind me, and we had 2 paramedics on the set constantly, so everything was pretty technical. Okay, nice question, thank you.
So it wasn't Carl Betts then. Another question. Raise your hand and we'll get to you. No questions. Come on, this is school. Let's ask some questions. There you go. Yes, sir. I keep coming down with the microphone. I'm not used to this.
Fuller, I understood you spent some time in the Army.
Yes, sir.
correct, during the Korean War. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I was 19 years old when the Korean War was on, and we all got drafted in those days. So I was drafted and spent some time in the 24th Infantry Division, 19th Infantry Regiment in Korea for a while. And, I learned a lot. Learned a heck of a lot my first day. I would do it over again because it's who I am today. I think it helped me because of the Army training. And, I learned a lot.
My
It was a
dad
great
was a Korean
experience.
veteran, also Navy.
Pardon me?
My dad was a Korean veteran, also Navy.
So you got your start as a dancer. Then you went into the Korean War and you came out and you became an action star.
Yeah. Very good.
Was there basically any forethought when you went into film in those roles as a dancer? I'm going to do this, and this is going to be a stepping stone to something else.
I had no inclination or desire to become an actor. Some people on Facebook and this and that websites have said that I came to Hollywood to become an actor. I came to Hollywood with my parents. I had no idea about getting in the picture business. It was a fluke, really, because I was working as an extra, as a doorman at the British Chinese Theater, and met a bunch of guys my age that worked extra. And they became friendly with them running in the theater or whatever, and they said, yeah, come get in the extra business. It's a lot of fun. And that's how I got into show business, really. And from there, because I could dance a little bit, my dad was a dancer in the business at the time. I went on a few musicals and got the job and danced a little, but
Did they have a dance studio? They also taught.
they did in
Yeah.
Key West, Florida,
Uh-huh.
years before.
Yeah.
But then I got drafted, and when I got out of the Army, I had no thoughts about even going back into the picture business to do anything because I had no education. I quit school in the 9th grade to go fishing. And so I didn't know what I was going to do. But my best pal, Chuck Courtney, said, no, you're not going to stay in the business. So there's a new guy in town named Richard Boone who was teaching acting. This was way before Half Gun. He said, I want you to come to class and meet him. So I did, and did a scene for him, and he liked it, and Dick said, I think you got a chance to become an actor. I want you to study with me. And that was 1955. And I did. I studied with it, and made up my mind. I said, okay, if this is going to be it, you have to make a decision about being an actor. You really do. You just can't say, well, I'll give it a try sometime, or this or that. So I did. I made up my mind. I said, this is it. This is all I'm going to do. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to study, and I'll become an actor. And I did. And it worked out great. And Dick liked what I did. Sent me to New York to study with Sandy Meisner at the neighborhood playhouse. And when I came back in '56, I went right there as an actor.
You both worked with Sandy Meisner, did you, Alex?
No.
Didn't you work with Sandy? Was it Strasbourg? Who were you with?
Yeah, no, I did at the actor studio, not very much with Lee Strasberg. There was a guy there named Walt Whitcover, and he was brilliant, and I studied mostly with him. Bob just said something that triggered a thought in my mind. I had a son who asked me once, he was very, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but he was a very good-looking young guy, looked a bit like Brad Pitt. And he asked me at one point if I thought he should become an actor. And I came up with an answer, which is in line with what you said. I said, the only way that you should become an actor is if everybody in the world tells you that you should not, and you want to do it anyway. That's what it takes.
And Ken, you have one thing in relationship with Paul there. I know that you were on the new Mouseketeers as one of the Mouseketeers.
I was?
Yeah.
No, the only relationship I have with Paul is that I dated Smokey Fabre
Oh, my.
at Oklahoma University, Shelley's sister.
That's right.
Smoky, huh?
Her name was
That's
Smokey.
her name?
And was she?
Yes, she's still
Yeah. Hot.
Was she?
Yeah.
Speaking of hot, I want to ask you about working with Willie and Chris Christopherson. a little hot in Willie's RV there.
Well, you want to hold your breath, unless you're used to that type of thing. And after your eyes quit watering from the density. No, that was a hoot. I mean, I loved Willie to death, and Chris. Mm-hmm. And Chris kept coming up, said, "Damn you, Farmer! Said, you're getting more screen time than I am." I was playing a guy running for governor, and they had my picture everywhere. Huge poster-sized pictures all over the hotels, on the side of vans, and everything. And he comes. Of course, he gets me in the end as he gets to punch me out, and because I was a bad guy.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, I was a bad guy. But the interesting thing was that at the rap show, or the rap party, Ann Richards, who had just been elected governor, and came to the rap party, and Willie was playing, and she's sitting over there at a table, and I had been introduced during the show. I was doing a scene, and she came on set, and they introduced us because I had patterned my character after the guy she ran against, Clayton Williams, and all of his mannerisms and everything. And she said, "Well, I'm glad I didn't have to run against you. You're a lot better looking and probably smarter than what's his name." and I said, "Well, I don't know if I'm any smarter, but if I'm going to shoot myself in the foot, I won't start at the hip."
All right, questions? Raise your hand. Yes.
This question is for Mr. Farmer.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience filming Silverado?
Oh boy, it never got above freezing for the 3 months that I was in Santa Fe, and got there and met Kevin Costner, and I will say that one of the fun things that I thought was very fun is that I had to teach Kevin how to ride, and Kevin's a natural. I taught him the riding without his hands that he did on Dancing with Wolves. I put the horse on a lunge line, no saddle, said sit in the center, and we worked up to a lope, and he learned to do it. Now Danny Glover, that's a different story altogether. The man has no rhythm. How's that? From the darkness of his complexion, you would think that he would have some rhythm, but never could get him to quit doing this. I said, "Danny, you look like a wounded duck." But it was a great shoot. Like I said, never got above freezing, and of course we're always in the canvas coats and everything. And one night when we were out behind the chapel, something similar to this, it was 2 degrees above zero, with a 30-mile-an-hour wind. It was 3 in the morning, and I got Danny Glover on the ground. Brian Dennehy's sitting on the porch stoop of the church, and I'm holding my pistol on Glover, and I'm sitting there. And Larry Kasdan, the director, says, "Farmer, be still." I said, "Can't." We could do one take, and they would have to take the camera, batteries, everything inside because it would lock up. Camera would go, one take. It took all night long. And Linda Hunt, bless her heart, love her to death. Every time we'd go into they had this one big room where we had breakfast. Okay, it's real close to the set because they would just have long enough to warm up the camera, and the batteries. And she would have hot cocoa or coffee for everyone. She's an Academy Award winner. Hello. And she said, "Here's your coffee." "Thank you."
Too bad you didn't have Willie's van on that one. Another question? Yes, ma'am.
This is for Ken Farmer. I wanted to ask about your experience about a kid that I've known practically all his life, Lucas Black, on Friday Night Lights.
Lucas, I loved working with Lucas. He was a genuine Alabama boy. as you've ever seen. And I mean, if you saw Sling Blade or any of them, I mean, that's Lucas. That's Lucas. You know, and we'd sit there, and he was the only, we were the only two on set that could understand one another.
He actually did sick.
Yeah, everybody said, what did he say? He said, he was a great guy though.
Yeah,
He
he's a
was
good kid.
in one of the, what's that Vin Diesel?
Oh, some kind of car.
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.